Today, I'm gonna have to draw out a list, more specifically, a top 5 villains of all time list. So I spent weeks researching villains, you know, the scariest, most powerful, most stylistic, and now, after that research, I'll put it together the undeniable top 5 list of villains. But make sure to watch the whole vid because I will name some honorable mentions, but let's get started. Hey man, we're starting off heavy right off the bat, so for the 5th spot, man, I'm gonna have to give it to hands down the best villain in Naruto, Orochimaru. We gotta start with him, but when I made the decisions for these villains, you know, of course I'm looking at power level, how they would stack up in the fight, but also I'm looking at charisma, aura, influence, and I feel like Orochimaru was a good choice with all that in mind. But I'm gonna be honest, I gotta grab a specific item at the store to complete this sketch. I'll show you in a second what I ended up having to buy. So I ended up grabbing some of the ninja weapons, kunai, only because I need to take a reference photo holding one. I want to draw him like he's in a threatening stance, like looking like he's about to use one of these. So I feel like a ninja right now holding this, I ain't gonna lie. But let me say one thing. When I was in the early planning phases for this Orochimaru sketch, you know, I set up, hopped on my iPad because I wanted to start some rough thumbnail sketches like usual. And I wanted his face to be centered, looking straight ahead, like not at an angle. But I also wanted him to be a little bit intimidated. So, you know, let me know if this sketch right here exemplifies that. I dropped some ink on it. But let me grab some villainy colors. But this video came to be when I was making my drawing Spider-Verse characters video, you know, which I felt like was one of my best videos. But anyway, I was intending to make a follow-up video to that, which revolved around drawing Spider-Man villains. Only Spider-Man villains though, but you know, I thought to myself, it'd probably be more interesting to include like all villains, open it up to like every fictional universe, just how we ended up getting Orochimaru in the 5th spot. But listen man, we gotta get ready for number 4. If we're talking villains, it's mandatory we make a trip to the Dragon Ball Z universe. You know, lots to choose from, but I had to give Frieza a call. You know, I had to see if he was available because we needed to recruit him for this team. I had to make that call now. You know, right now I'm feeling pretty confident about this list. If it was a 2v2, I'm winning with these. This was a rough sketch, which eventually turned into the polished sketch after I took some time. Ink pens are necessary for the progression, so let me grab those, but I do have some questions for y'all. I'm gonna ask them in a second. Now, I normally draw NBA players in different styles, and you know, those are probably the best videos on my channel, but you know, this particular video is a little bit different. You know, a lot of anime drawings, so I wanted to ask, would y'all want more of that? I could draw some anime characters in like different anime styles. I know that's really popular on YouTube. A lot of videos doing that, but you know, y'all just let me know what you want. But personally, what I want is for y'all to take a second and hit the subscribe button and the bell. In terms of like art direction, I wanted this panel or lineup of villains to look like a fighter selection screen. You know what I mean? Like when you're playing Smash Bros or Mortal Kombat and you need to pick out a fighter, that's what I want this panel to look like, the character selection screen. That's kind of why I gotta draw them posing too. Man, this is a sick duo right here. Yeah, I feel like we started off strong, but this 3rd one is gonna get crazy. Listen man, anybody that watched Avatar: The Last Airbender, man, you probably know where we gotta go with this. Azula has to be on this list. No questions asked. You know, if I would have made this and forgot to include her, I probably would have had to rip everything up and start over again. So one thing that was essential is drawing her using her lightning ability or lightning bending, which I still think is the best. You know, if you're familiar with Avatar, if I had to choose between water bending, earth, air, or fire bending, I'd choose fire just so I could be able to use the lightning technique. I think it looks the coolest in my opinion. Definitely gets more style points. Like I said, later in the video, I am gonna show you a complete list of villains I had in my notes at least. And you can see how the inking for Azula came out right here, but as I was saying, I'm gonna list a couple of the honorable mentions that didn't make the cut, didn't make the top 5, but they were right there for me. I'll start listening. First, like, huge villain that didn't make this cut. I know y'all might be complaining, but it's Thanos. Spoiler alert, I didn't include him on this one. Y'all think I should have cut somebody and put him in? But another one too, it's the Joker. I probably should have included him in, but he didn't make it. I'm sorry. But anyway, man, we still got a solid team so far. This is solid. But with this next one, man, we gotta turn it up a notch. Listen, man, no more games. I wanted to stop playing around, so I went ahead and I had to include Mewtwo. I told y'all, I needed somebody on this team that can just solo another team of villains. Like, he could go 1v5 and still win. That's where Mewtwo comes in, I'm telling y'all. Now, I don't feel like I'm a super huge Pokemon fan compared to others, but you can tell by looking at my Switch, the Joy-Cons of the games. I am a fan. Especially of the earlier games. I gotta draw him using a move too, like maybe Dark Pulse or Shadow Ball, something that looks cool. I had to go back and start looking up the Pokeball moves too. Now we got the inking together, but listen, I think it's time. I showed y'all the full villain list I had in my notes. Now, in my opinion, I think I cooked up a pretty good list. There's obviously a lot I could have added and y'all could suggest them, but I had to narrow this down to 5. And maybe for a follow-up video, I can draw the top 5 villains that didn't make this cut. And maybe I could do like a versus match between this panel and that panel, and we can see who wins. Even looking at this list now, there's some definite names I'm gonna have to draw eventually in the future. But do y'all want me to do a top 5 heroes, maybe top 5 heroes or protagonists instead of villains? I don't know, but listen, I gotta get this Mewtwo together before you hit me with a Hyper Beam or something. Listen, y'all definitely can leave your own, top 5 villains in your opinion, because I do want to see what y'all say. I want to see your opinions on this. As I keep saying, I know there's gonna be some names, villains y'all suggest that I'm gonna be mad I forgot about, but I'm still standing behind my list. I think this panel right here, is gonna give like any team of villain a problem. And we still didn't even add the #1 spot yet, but we're gonna get to it now. But the #1 spot, it has to go to a legend. It has to go to a legend, and with no question, that has to be Bowser. When you factor in longevity, consistency, he might not win all the time, but he's guaranteed to show up. You can't get rid of him either. He's gonna come right back. But let me add some touches to my guide and I'll show you the top 5 villains of all time. I'm gonna use this collage book to number them too. But before that happens, man, make sure to hit that subscribe button, the like button, the bell. Let's get to it. So this is my top 5 villains of all time right here. Y'all are welcome to leave your own villains, don't be shy, but let me know if I was on point with this list, if I got it correct or not. And one more thing, here's some of the best videos I posted on my channel right here if you guys want to check them out. But new videos coming soon, so please subscribe if you haven't already, and I'm out.